This envelope case is made using only straight lines and is fully lined, so all raw edges are hidden inside and there's no need for binding. Today I'll walk you through how to make it step by step. I'll demonstrate on the largest size, but the same method applies to all three. You can use your own measurements, or the full pattern is linked below if you would like to follow along. You can begin by printing and preparing your pieces. I have a separate video that walks through that in more detail. Now we'll prepare our fabric. Most pieces are designed to be cut flat for ease. The pocket piece is cut on a fold and 2 ties are cut. For quilting, cut the outer fabric in waddings slightly larger than the pattern pieces to allow for shrinkage. Place and pin each outer fabric piece wrong side down onto its corresponding wadding piece. Temporarily secure the layers using safety pins or hand basting stitches. You can now quilt as desired. Vertical lines spaced about 2 cm apart are a simple option. I set my stitch length to 4. Once quilting is complete, place the paper pattern pieces back onto the quilted fabric, trim to shape and transfer your notches. Now we'll create a pocket on the flap lining. Fold the pocket piece along the fold line with wrong sides together and press. You can optionally edge stitch along the folded edge. Position the pocket piece on the flap lining as marked on the pattern piece and pin in place. You can also swap this to the other side if you prefer. Mark the dividing compartment lines as indicated on the pattern piece. These will give you enough room for stationery or small cables. Now you can stitch them in place. Now we'll make the ties. Take one tie piece and fold it in half lengthwise with wrong sides together, pressing along the centre line. This is our first fold. Open the tie again and fold each long raw edge inward to meet the centre crease and press. These are our second folds. Fold along the original centre crease again so the raw edges are enclosed and press. Now we're going to seal one end of the tie. Open the first fold at one short end, leaving the long edges tucked in by the second folds. Trim the 2 raw corners diagonally. Keeping the second folds in place, reverse the first fold so the centre crease turns outwards. Stitch across the short end using a 0.5 cm seam allowance. Trim the inner corner to reduce bulk. Turn the end right side out so the seam is hidden inside the tie and press flat again. Edge stitch along the long open side of the tie. The opposite short end remains open and will be secured later during construction. This can be fiddly, but after just a few stitches you'll be able to hold on to the loose tails to get you started. Repeat for the second tie. Now we'll make the flap. Place the flap outer and flap lining right sides together. Make sure your pockets are hidden in between. Position the upper tie between the layers as marked on the pattern piece, allowing about 0.5 cm of the raw edge to extend past the seam line. Pin along the sides and top edge. Stitch using a 1 cm seam allowance, leaving the straight base edge open. Press the seam open. Then trim the corners and grade the seams to reduce bulk. Turn the flap right side out, gently shape the corners and press it neatly. Now we'll attach the lower tie to the main body. Mark your tie placement, taking note of the raw edge position, and pin in place. Stitch 1 cm from the upper edge of the tie to secure it firmly. Fold the tie back over the raw edge to enclose it. Stitch again 1 cm from the lower edge this time. Now we'll create our main body and lining. With right sides together, fold the main body along the fold line. Pin along both side edges. Stitch down each side with a 1 cm seam allowance. Press the seams open and trim to reduce bulk. Turn right side out, gently shape the corners and press neatly. Now we'll repeat for the main body lining. Pin and sew as before, this time leaving a gap between the notches for turning. Press and grade the seams, but don't turn the lining. Now let's attach the flap to the body. Ensure both pieces are right side out with the flap positioned as if open. Align the flap with the back edge of the main body matching the notches. Pin in place. Stitch using a 0.5 cm seam allowance to create a holding seam. Press the seam open and trim any bulk. Now we'll attach the lining. Ensure the main body is right side out and the lining remains wrong side out. Open the flap outwards so it lies flat against the back of the case. Roll the main body upward from the base. Insert the rolled body into the lining. Align the top edges and the pressed open side seams. Because this is fully lined, all the raw edges will be enclosed inside the project. Stitch around the full top edge using a 1 cm seam allowance. Press the seam open and trim any bulk, particularly at the side seams. Gently pull the case right side out through the lining gap. As it comes through, you can see how all of those edges are now hidden inside. Gently shape the corners and check everything fits nicely. Stitch the lining gap closed. Push the lining fully inside the case and press the top edges neatly. Optionally, you can edge stitch the top edge of the main body and the bottom edge of the flap. Now your envelope case is ready. You can even add a little personalised embroidery. If you would like the full pattern with all 3 sizes, you can find it linked below.